Welcome back to the MMA Fight Realm. What's going on? If you're new, thanks for tuning in. On this video, we're going to be talking about prospects to cash on in 2024. We got 7 fighters with up-and-coming fights, some making their debuts, some with just one fight in the UFC. So definitely some prospects, and we're going to look to cash on them in 2024. I see them winning their fights for sure, and I did a little back studying, watched all the tape, so hope you guys like it. Let me know what you guys think. Before we get into it, check the Instagram out at MMA Fight Realm. I got betting odds, fight news, fight announcements, all the UFC content you need. Like, comment, subscribe as always. All right, let's get into it, guys. So the first fighter we're going to be talking about today is Marquel Mederos. He's fighting this weekend against Landon Quinones. This guy is 27 years old, 5'10", 69-inch reach. 5'10", real good for the lightweight weight class. So what stands out to me is 8-1, but he's got timing, IQ, and patience for only being 8-1. He's got heavy hands. He knows when to apply pressure, when not to apply pressure. So when he's got you hurt, he's not going to go crazy. And you combine all of this with a purple belt in BJJ. So he's very well rounded, and he can mix it up. This guy is going to wreak havoc in the UFC so long as people keep trying to take him down, because in Dana White Contender Series, he took on a Dagestani, and that's all he was trying to do. Isa Isakov was trying to take him down the whole fight. Marquel Mederos was able to hold up with the takedown defense and land a precise knee that was landed flush to the face of Isa Isakov as he was going for a takedown. Finished him in the first round. Regardless, if the fight even did go to the ground, like I said, purple belt in BJJ. He's only working on it. 27 years old. This guy's young, making his debut in the UFC. This weekend, I see very big things out of this prospect, and the line for him to win this one by KO is, as I'm making this video, plus 215. So I'm going to lay some chalk on that. I definitely see him winning this one by KO against Landon Quinones. So there's the first prospect on the list, guys. Let's get on to the next. All right. We got a heavyweight from Cuba. Some of you know him, some of you don't. He's making his debut in the UFC on UFC 299. Robelis Despaigne. Robelis Despaigne is 4-0. This guy, 4-0. That doesn't say much, but 6'7", 6'7", 87-inch reach. That is the largest reach recorded in the UFC. Taekwondo expert, guys. He's been doing Taekwondo since he was 9 years old. Joined the Cuban national team at 16, and then went on to win a bronze medal in the 2012 Olympics for Taekwondo for Cuba, guys. This guy definitely has been working on his hands, working on the feet. And for some of you doubting if he has any ground game, since 2019, he's been working with the Gracie family on his BJJ. So I think he's very willing to take the fight to the ground. He has said it in his interviews. 35 years old. That's the only thing that might shock me a little bit. But he's got a fast leg kick. And, I mean, 3 out of his 4 fights have not gone more than 15 seconds. So he's very aggressive. Keeps the hands down like a Taekwondo expert, and he gets you to engage. But if you engage with a guy who's 6'7" and this fast, man, you're only looking to get finished. I definitely see him touching the top 15 before he hangs him up. Robelis Despaigne taking on Josh Parisian on UFC 299. The line is already crazy. So hopefully when the props come out for him to win by KO or first round finish, we can parlay that or something, because the line for him to the money line is already like a minus 380 or something like that. So I'm not gonna lay any chalk on that. That's already ridiculous. But Robelis Despaigne. That's the second prospect on the list, guys. On to the next. We got a bantamweight from Brazil, Vinicius Oliveira. This guy is 28 years old, 5'9", 70-inch reach. And what stands out to me about this guy is 19-3, 17 out of the 19 wins have come by finish, guys. He's got 15 KOs and 2 submissions. One loss on his record came to Christian Quinones, who is in the UFC. So he's got some UFC experience, but that was a doctor stoppage. And if you rewatch the fight, I think the doctor stopped it a little too soon. But, you know, it is what it is. It affects how we see it on Tapology, but he's got some UFC experience. He's been in the cage with the guy who's in the UFC. He's a showman, guys. He is never in a boring fight. Like I said, 15 KOs, 2 submissions. He will let you know if you are not coming forward, and he will let you know if you don't want to stand with him. He's a showman about it. He's going to bring that entertainment to the UFC. Heavy hands for the bantamweight weight class. He was able to get it done in the first round on Dana White Contender Series with a mean left hook. But he was actually catching him with leg kicks before that. So he's very well-rounded. He knows how to mix it up. BJJ on top of that. Man, we got a bunch of prospects who know that you can't come into the UFC without being well-rounded anymore. And he is one of them. Vinicius taking on Yanis Gamori on March 2nd. This guy, in his past 5 fights, 3 of them, he's been able to get it done in the first round. So I'm going to be looking at the under 1.5 prop or the KO prop for him. The money line on him just came out today as I'm making this video. So it's actually not too bad. Gonna definitely throw some chalk on him money line and parlay him as well. Vinicius Oliveira. I see him winning his fight, his debut on March 2nd. That is the third prospect. Let's get on to the next, guys. Women's flyweight weight class. Fatima Kline. Fatima Kline is not in the UFC yet, but I definitely see her making her way to the octagon very soon. 23 years old, 5'6", 67-inch reach, and let me tell you why she's gonna make the UFC. Erin Blanchfield is her training partner. Been her training partner since she was an amateur. Erin Blanchfield is now fighting in a title eliminator, and I believe that is largely the reason why Fatima Kline is 5-0. I mean, you can't have a better training partner right now for Fatima Kline, and you add that with she's got 12 years of experience training BJJ. She's got leg locks and heel hook finishes in the mixed martial arts fighting scene. This girl, like I said, 5'6", very good height for the weight class. She's learning the hands. She's definitely gonna be a prospect to cash on once she makes her debut in the UFC. She's got a fight on February 9th for CFFC against a Brazilian who is gonna test her. Well, I shouldn't say test her, match her on the ground. They are both BJJ predominantly, so she's gonna have to work them hands, and that's a great test for Fatima Kline. If she wins that, I definitely see her getting a contract real soon, and we're gonna look to cash on her in her debut in the UFC. So just a amateur that we're gonna look to give some shine on this video. Fatima Kline, do not forget the name. She will definitely be fighting in the UFC very soon, guys. All right, on to the next. In the welterweight weight class, we got Carlos Prates. Carlos Prates, Brazilian, 6'1", 78-inch reach. This guy, over 100 K1 Muay Thai fights, over 23 MMA fights. This guy is only 30 years old. A lot of experience. So, and he shows it because he fights with confidence, guys. When he gets taken down, he is talking to you. And he took a Dagestani in his early career when he was an amateur about 3-0, I believe, and he lost by decision. He got taken down in that fight several times, and I think it really left a chip on his shoulder because from that point on, he became a black belt in BJJ, and he's been training with the Fighting Nerds. So Cairo, Ohio, the list goes on. The Fighting Nerds are great on the ground. A lot of people are going to try to test this guy and try to take him down. He has got something for you. He can mix it up. He's very well-rounded. Carlos Prates is taking on Trevin Giles next week, actually. And Giles is a decent fighter himself, but I see Prates winning this one by KO. I think he can catch him. Muay Thai expert, like I said, over 100 K1 fights and over 23 MMA fights heading into his debut in the UFC. He's only 30 years old. Trevin Giles has been known to get caught before. He's very chinny. I think Carlos Prates, with this guy, is only going to take one. Give me Carlos Prates to win that one. First round finish against Trevin Giles. He's got all the tools to get it done. I don't see it lasting all the rounds. So 1.5 under prop is live. Knockout prop is live. Carlos Prates next week. Be sure to tune in on his fight, guys. All right, on to the next. In the light heavyweight weight class, Ibo Aslan. Ibo Aslan making his debut in the UFC on March 30th. He's taking on Anton Turkalj. Now, they have fought before. Anton Turkalj was able to get the better of him. He finished him with a rear naked. But let me give you some context, guys. Ibo Aslan was dominating him in that fight. Ibo Aslan had him in a whole bunch of trouble with the leg kicks in the first round. He took him down in the first round, and then that was pretty much the same exact thing going into the second round. And heading into the third round, Ibo Aslan just gassed out. And you could tell it was a rookie mistake for Ibo Aslan. He's an amateur. He gave it his all, and he didn't have the cardio to back it up. I do think, however, he has shaped that up because since losing to Ibo Aslan, he has put on a 4-fight win streak. He's now 12-1 on his professional record. 27 years old, 6'3", 77-inch reach. Only active UFC fighter from Turkey. So he's got a lot of weight on his shoulders. But like I said, really great with the leg kicks. He's got a great above average grappling game. For a light heavyweight, he's going to bring problems. I think he could take on a guy like Vitor Petrino right now. He could bring problems because they match him with physicality. He matches him with the grappling and with the power, because Ibo Aslan is only learning how to deliver the power more. He has a first round finish on his Dana White Contender Series fight, and he's already faced UFC talent. So yeah, man, give me Ibo Aslan to win in his rematch against Anton Turkalj on March 30th. I'm definitely going to be tuning in. He's got some vengeance. He's looking to rewrite that loss. He won those first 2 rounds, like I said, and I do see him winning that fight. I think he shaped up the cardio. He could even get it done by finish. He's got all the tools. I'm going to go with Ibo Aslan to win in his debut. All right, guys. Last fighter for you guys is a women's bantamweight, Melissa Mullins. Melissa Mullins. Some of you might know her as Melissa Dixon. She made her debut as Melissa Dixon. It is now Melissa Mullins. She is 6-0, 32 years old, 5'7", 68-inch reach. 1 fight in the UFC, and that 1 fight in the UFC was so dominant that she has now edged her way into the top 15 of the women's bantamweight division. Now, I know women's bantamweight is starving for talent, but Melissa Dixon is very, very talented. 6-0. She's got game. She's a dog, guys. That's what stands out to me. I watched her amateur fights. She's a dog. She does not. She leaves it all in the cage. This is a fighter you want to see for the women's bantamweight weight class, because we already know the weight class is just in desperate need of fighters who are willing to give their all in the cage, and she is one of them. She's got great BJJ. She's got great grappling, and she's already had 5-round experience. She's been in a 5-round fight in her amateur career. Very good at the fundamentals, guys, and she's only improving. I do see her winning her next fight on April 6th. She's taking on Norma Cornell on April 6th. She's going to have a huge grappling advantage in that fight. Norma Cornell was taken down by Jocelyn Edwards and controlled. I do think she lost that fight. If she did, it wasn't a robbery, but if she did win the fight, it was her. She barely won. Barely won the fight. I don't think she won the fight. I thought Jocelyn Edwards edged it there with the ground and control time. But Melissa Mullins is a lot more violent than Jocelyn Edwards, and she could find the submission a lot faster than Jocelyn Edwards. Give me Melissa Mullins to win in her second fight on April 6th, guys, against Cornell. That's the last fighter on the list, guys. There you guys have it. Prospects to cash on in 2024. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. I got a bunch of more content for you guys. There you guys have it.